One look at my senior yearbook photos, and you'd know my high school sports career was terrible. Glasses, bookworm, skinny, geeky, klutzy, and Jewish and acne and all the internal symphonies of teenage hormones. I think I signed up for basketball and cross country, mostly to fit in with the jocks and the socias, hoping their acceptance would smother my anxieties and self-doubts. I was done in by a growth spurt in junior high that rocketed me to 6'4", left me rail thin, and trashed any coordination I may have had. Clumsy does not a basketball player make. After 2 years of second string JV, the coaches decided I would be varsity statistician my senior year. Didn't help my rep. I had hoped to salvage the situation with cross country, though I'd not done so well with that either. Typically, I'd sprint at the start, exhaust myself in the first quarter mile, slow to a jog, and finishing behind the pack. The first race of my senior year was at a rival high school, and I tried a new strategy. This time, I stayed in the middle of the pack right from the start. I kept a steady pace, simple lope, half-dozen strides behind the lead runners. I held that as the race wended its way through the open fields and an unpleasantly musty wood. With a quarter mile left to go, the lead runners sped into their sprints. I couldn't match their speed, but I passed a few runners. I didn't place, but I finished right behind those who did. Happy with my improvement, I put on my sweats, waited for the school bus. A teammate offered me a piece of orange, and suddenly I was engulfed in a thick citrus aroma. My teammate asked, "Jeff, why are your lips so big?" I probed my lower lip with 2 fingers, and they were bigger and puffy. This had never happened to me before. Maybe I bit my lip while I was running and just didn't notice. Other guys were coming up and looking at me and saying how big my lips were growing. I did not appreciate that the attention had shifted from my race to my face. I kept checking to see if the swelling was going down. It wasn't. And now my upper lip was pressing against the bottom of my nose. This can't be good. The bus arrived and I jumped in, took a seat in the rear, tried to avoid everyone. Bad strategy. As the guys piled onto the bus, they each came up the aisle and each focused on my face in the back. Coach came on last and couldn't help but notice everyone was turned in their seats looking at me. He asked if I was okay, and I replied, "I'll be fine." I draped a towel over my head and leaned forward to hide. And the entire ride back, I kept silently urging the bus to go faster. Parked at the gym, the coach waved me off first. More unwanted attention. I jogged to my locker, got my street clothes, didn't want to change, just wanted to get away. As I passed a mirror, I saw my face was swollen up like a balloon. The coach, who was my health teacher, met me at the exit and said, "You'll be okay to drive home." "I'll be fine." 10 minutes later, I walk into the house calling loudly, "Mom, don't panic, but can you quickly come take a look at me?" Jewish mother, she took one look at my face and went into hyperdrive. Grabbed her purse, hollered at my brother to call my dad at his office to meet us at the hospital, threw me in the car, sped through the streets. At emergency, they got me into an exam room with my mom getting more fidgety by the minute, and I was getting drowsy. A doc sauntered in and asked, "What's the problem?" My mom looked from the doc to me and back to the doc, seemed to realize something I didn't, jerked her wallet out of her purse, pulled my senior photo out of those little plastic sleeves, shoved it in front of the doc's face, and shouted, "That's not the way he's supposed to look. This is how he looks." The doc, now on board with the program, began to examine me. He instructed a nurse to go get some meds, and she returned just as he was asking if I was still okay. I tried to respond, but my throat had apparently decided not to let words out or air in. The doc snatched the 2 syringes and gave me the injections, and within a few minutes, it was no longer a struggle just to breathe. My memory of the rest of that evening was a little bit fuzzy. What with the exertion of the race and the anaphylaxis and the embarrassment and the epinephrine and the Benadryl, I was a little shocky. I do remember being half carried across the hospital parking lot by my dad and laying down in the back seat of his car. Driving home, he asked me if I was feeling okay. Same answer as always. "I'll be fine." And I was. Thank you.